what you're looking at is a cold-blooded murder of the crypto market. Now, it does feel like conspiracy, but it is not. At least in my thought process, this is now clear. Because you go look at what's happening here, and you know what they were kind of promoting. You won't own anything, and you will still be happy. So look at what happened before. Who are the guys entering there? Now you go look at what's happening here in the market, in the crypto market. Okay, fine. So they're going heavy into USDC, so that makes UST a competitor. So what's next? If that's the case, then USDT or Binance USD can be the next one. But we have to see what others are actually connected to this one, because when it actually drops, you need to see who are in the top markets. Because right now, in this top 10, what you are looking at is like Binance USD, one coin which is a stable coin. Then USDC, another stable coin, along with USDT, another stable coin. If you remove all those, you can see XRP is still in that league. Now, is it taking a hit? It is. It is. Are people buying? They are buying heavy. Why? The price actually went to 0.38 and it's hitting a lot of order books. Now, this is really crazy. Now, you look at the altcoin market. Yes, we do go up, we do go down and all that. But if the BTC dominance is breaking to the upside, that's gonna slow down alts. Now, why is that happening? You can literally see even banks are buying Bitcoin right now. You look at last 24 hours and you literally observe 77,000 BTC has been added. So when you, me and the other retailers are thinking that the market is crashing and some of them are dropping their assets, the whales are loading up. So if you want to liquidate your money to them, fine, it's up to you. But this is the Bitcoin dominance on a weekly long term. Now, yes, you zoom in and you see this. Okay, there is a possibility that we may break to the upside. Now, take a step back, zoom out. I know this is not the time where, when I say calm down, it's easy to do that. I know it's not easy to calm down right now because the market is dropping, your USD value in your portfolio is dropping. But that's how you make money. Going through these hard times, if it doesn't kill you, it's going to strengthen you. Now, if you're breaking this, yes, alts are going to go slow, but that does show you that after this long drop, we had a retracement in the history. Then we dropped down again, we retraced. But here, we did not get that much retracement. And if that happens to be a continuation pattern, this is going to get rejected here and go down. That's actually another good news. Money is coming back into the market. But the difference is, huge difference is, say some of the assets like this, we had a chart, March 30, one of my last chart for Terra, saying this, okay, taking profits here, I think is going to be a good area because it's going to be hard. This is a rising wedge, right? It can correct to the downside. And now, I'm not actually saying that. I was thinking the asset was going to drop like this. I didn't know that. But the current manipulation in the market did that. I was expecting something like this because Solana also had a similar pattern, right? You go up wave 1, you go up wave 2, wave 3, you are done. So there are assets like these which already have done wave 3, right? You go look at these and there are charts where I'm saying okay, I think this has already completed wave 3. Now, short term, trading opportunities will be there, but long term, you're going to be in a wild structure, right? And that's what you see in different coins. You see Chainlink. It topped out 2021 May. Now, keep this in mind. Be clear, not all of these coins topped out at the same time. This is SHIB. It topped out its 3-wave structure back in November. And if you remember, I had my charts back then saying detailed wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 separately and then all of them together, highlighting why I think it's actually going to drop. Now, it's making a base. There is a capitulation. So, if you are in that asset, 80-90% drop is where you actually buy if you believe that protocol is going to last. Now, for me, that's a meme coin. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, that's just a meme coin. But the key point here is, 1, topped out in 2021 November. The other one here topped out 2021 May. So there's a huge difference, right? So not all the coins follow same pattern in long-term trend, right? But it does follow the same price structure. Wave 1, after wave 1, you do consolidate heavily. And after each heavy corrections like this, 60, 70, 80% drop, you go up. Now that's one thing which is common in these assets, they drop heavily. Whether you can agree or not, look at synthetics. It dropped all the way from that $2 mark way back to 0.03 before it actually started running back up towards $9, right? So this market is going to be a carnage in between, and if you can't digest this market is going to kick you in the butt. Now that's hard part, because a lot of people who are in this market expecting the market to do 10, 50, 100x like me will be like, okay, I'm down 60%, I'm down 70%, what should I do? You look at this, March 2020 when the corona crash was here, I was like 65% down. And then the SEC crash was like 78% down, 76% down. Now we are like 80% down. So for me in XRP, that's a huge opportunity, because I'm looking at the project. The project is still developing. They are not slowing down. Now, there are other projects as well, which you may not agree with. You may agree with, who knows. But looking at this tweet from Tho Financial, I'm like, okay, the market is taking a hit. Now, the global market is taking a hit. It's not only this one, right? We've gone through that in this Patreon, going through all the different stocks, Apple, Tesla, Netflix, and sharing my thoughts there. And yes, the market is taking a hit. So right now, as an investor, retail investor in crypto market, you need to have a ton of patience and appetite to digest this fluctuation. Now let's actually detail what's happening right now in the market. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now we do look at the current market and say, okay, that's a lot of stuff happening right now. The market is moving crazy. The volume coming in looks really, really hard. So you go look at the market right now. You are looking at it and you are asking that question to yourself, where is the volume going in? Now, one thing, if you remember from my last video we were talking about, it's like the buys were in the billion and the sell was 5.8, 5.6 billion. You can look at that in the last video. That means there was a heavy selling pressure compared to the buying side of it. But right now, that shifted. Look at Bitcoin right now. It's above $1 billion in buys and below $1 billion in sell. So now that selling volume vanished. So 4 billion was there in that liquidity pool to sell during all these time. But right now, they're gone. It's absorbed. So think who sold it and think who absorbed that supply. Because when you sell, if the market has to execute that order, someone else at the other end should buy it. So when you think the market is going to crash and you're selling, someone else is buying. Now, if it's actually a small chunk, it can be retailers, confused retailers. But 4 billion at a time? No way it's retailers. That's why I'm literally highlighting this again. These are institutional whales doing whale-sized manipulations. They're entering the market, making these waves, and if you don't understand this correctly, they are going to take it away from you. The number of XRP, the number of Bitcoin, the number of Ether, or whatever you have is going to be there, right? Now, at a point, they will come out and say, okay, we did not do that. There was nothing like that happening. But then you go look at what's happening in the background and you start scratching your head. At least I'm like, okay, that really makes sense, because no normal human being alone can actually do that, unless it's like, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos coming out to sell 4 or 5 billion worth of Bitcoin, but they need to first load up on Bitcoin like that to do this. And usually they don't. They are long-term investors in their projects, not in the crypto market. So for them, Crypto market is just a side investment where there can be a percentage or two as investments. Now, when the market go this low, you go look at what's happening inside the market and you're literally 90% down, 40% down. You get a lot of different coins with fundamentals dropping 40-50% a day. Now you go look at last week. Now just neglect Luna from this because lunatics just did a lot of crazy stuff. They went through a lot of crazy stuff. Now you have to feel for those guys who are in that project, right? Even though the chart was showing this, we may expect like what Apple did in the chart, right? It had similar pattern, it broke to the upside and then came back lower. So the people who were waiting there to get that, they just entered that carnage. It's really hard. But if you are in XRP right now, like all the other assets, yes, we do drop, but these kind of big drops are followed by pumps. Now, it won't be just one candle going all the way up to the all-time highs, but it will definitely be a going up phase. If you have sold here, you didn't get any profit here. Now, that's just 1 month, right? 1.5 months, you're coming back to that level. In 2 months, you're back to this level where you were trading for that long. Now, in 4 months' time, you are making profits. Another 2 months, you are at all-time high compared to the entire trading range, right? So the same goes in for most of the assets unless they are doing this. So you now need to actually go look at the chart for the asset which you are trading in. See, we are in a log scale BTC chart and you are looking at this. Now, we were talking about this yesterday, right? We had similar patterns in different assets, different asset classes, right? Similar pattern, almost. You get the double top possibility and then the price happened to make a base and go back higher. Now, that was in stock market. It actually did that in different areas. Now, one of that is like you make a new high here, then come back lower to test the same base and the buyers come back here buying heavily. And here, who are the buyers which we are observing right now, absorbing all these supply? Because we just saw like 77,000 Bitcoin has been bought. So what was the actual amount of loan taken to sell? It was like 80, in which 25%, 25K actually went into UST as the first sell and then the rest in the market. So right now, most of them are absorbed. Now you go on a daily and you look like, okay, what's the price action showing you like? It's showing you a continuation pattern and a long wicked candle here. You have wick at the top and the bottom, but the selling pressure is still weighing on the downside. Now you are zooming slowly out to see where the support lines are, where you are seeing volume coming in to buy this asset, and it's literally here. Imagine those who were buying here, the institutions, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. They are now literally buying like El Salvador, trying to average down, bring the average down, because when this asset goes up, they make money. But difference is they don't have a shorter time span. If you were in the market and you are like, okay, I can't wait through this correction. Now that was like 500 days of correction. Then it went up. So if you had another 100 days, you literally made money. But if you didn't, you got inside that carnage. You lost it all. We have to feel for those guys who are in time shortage. But when you enter a market like crypto, you need to actually have the time. Otherwise, it's going to be super hard because this market is not fully regulated and these kind of fluctuations. It's really hard even to say that, but this type of manipulation does happen in this market. What you have to look at that point is if you're buying now, buy the assets which have strong fundamentals, which will stay inside the top 10, top 50, whatever you are looking at as a pattern to enter with that liquidity. It should be inside this, right? You look at XRP. Now I'm an XRP fan. So for me, you look at XRP at this price, that's a bargain. In my thought process, that's a bargain. Now Cardano, that's a huge bargain. Look at what's happening with Ether. You don't really want to build on Ether. There are a lot of people going to build it on Avax, Cardano, a lot of different chains. So they get attention, they get adoption. So they are being used. The utility is there. So in that case, this is going to end well. Now, you go look at the USD right now. It's slowly grinding back up. So if there are a lot of investors coming into that project buying in, it may come back. Now that's a stable coin coming back. But at the same time, you look at the other end of this, that's Terra Luna, which is 98% down. So they may sell the Luna and peg this back as a stable coin. And that's a hard thing for those who are in Luna. So try avoiding any asset with a macro three-wave structure like this. If it has a three-wave structure and then it shows a possibility like this, a falling wedge, for the time being, try avoiding it. Because we don't know where that bottom is going to be coming in for that particular asset. Even if it drops 60%, it can still drop another, right? That's a huge possibility. Whereas if you are looking at assets like this, now remove all this, just look at which was your big area of buying zone, where it was really hard for you to break to the upside. We spent a lot of time below that range trying to break through, and now you're coming back to that range after only doing wave 1. Now, when I say wave 1, don't get confused. You get this action first and then a break. Now that's your wave 1. You come back, retest that and bounce. So your wave 1 there. Now you get the same here in Solana. You get the same here in synthetics. You look at this. You had this accumulation range. You broke that one. You retested this range and bounced. That's wave 1. Then wave 2 and wave 3. So similar structure. You broke higher. You came back. Now that coming back was really hard, crash landing because of the SEC, but you went back up saying SEC, fine, but we are long term in this project, right? Now you have done that. So what happens after that? You go back and look at all these and they drop heavily first and then consolidates and then drop heavily again before it go back up. You look at Synthetics, it dropped heavily, coming back all the way down till this range where it was then supported and bought back. Now you're back to that range. Now it's really hard to see that XRP coming back to that price range if you don't have much dry powder to buy in, or if your average is even lower than this, because that just means you have to literally wait another 2-3 months for this to go up. Because if you observe the market, you go back to the same range in like 140 days, in like 130 days, that range. But one thing which you can identify from this market, one of the easy stuff, is that whenever you drop heavily, as the drop deepens, your time taken to go back up reduces. Say here, you are looking like, okay, fine, it took 140 days to go back up after a 65% correction. Fine. Now, the next one here was like 76% correction, right? It went up in the same duration. You are taking from the same bottom, plotting that 130 days. You see, no, we have done that before. We reached there by 110 days. So right now, you are again doing a bigger correction. The correction is even heavier, right? You're going lower. This is your top. Now we are going lower, and right now you are around 80%. So this is like A, B, and C. You're still going lower. We don't know where the bottom is. But one thing for sure is after this pattern is over, when you go back up, it may take even less than this time to reach back to the same top or a new top, right? So that's another 3 months. That's really hard to see another 3 months in this market once you're waiting through this bull market and then entering the bear market, going through this, right? That's really hard. But if you are in this market, you are already looking for drops like these. The market usually drop like this intermediately. Now, even XRP, as a fundamental asset, does do these kind of drops. And when it drops, those who are in for long term, they buy, or they just sit tight, hold, looking and learning from the market, because the market shows you a lot of different stuff to learn from. This is Bitcoin coming back to this price range. If you are breaking and going all the way back down, that's a bear market. But what are the odds for that? Because we just saw multiple assets which reversed after 3 wave structures. Now you have this particular asset doing the second wave. So most likely, if it's me, I'll put 99.9% of the time the market may do another wave to the upside before it actually go back down based on the history. Right? You go look at XRP, you go look at different assets, you get that kind of structure. Now, if you are worried in the market, try learning a lot from the market, because that kind of gives you an edge over the market. But if you are really fearful because you put in a lot of money which you shouldn't have initially done because you need that money sooner and you can't wait, that's the hard part. But if you try finding liquidity to stay in the market, not put more money in, just to stay liquid, that's fine, because the market eventually come back up if that asset is fundamentally expanding. If that project is developing, the developers are working hard and the project is expanding, the price come back to its highs. It makes a new high. It just does all the time if the project is doing great. On the other side of this, if the project is going down, there is no liquidity in that project, don't go to this. See, when you look at this right now, the higher liquidity is in the stable coin, USDT, and then Bitcoin. But do the opposite. Try look at like where the volume is too low, because that's some of the stuff which you really want to avoid, where there is no much liquidity. Because as you go to the small caps, you're going to see like this. Okay, no one is actually buying that right now, so you shouldn't be putting your money in. Once the market take back off and it starts moving back higher, that's the only time, if you are entering that one, you should. Otherwise, don't do that. So guys, I definitely believe this session really helped you, and if you did, please do hit that like and subscribe button, because that supports the channel a lot. And if you would like to see these kind of charts and updates for stock markets, commodities, cryptos and all over the time when we have very bad movement in the market, when the market is dropping heavy, to understand where the supports are, what the short-term pattern look like, or the long-term, where we are in that market cycle, because that is actually key in my opinion. Because if you know that you are doing the third wave, short-term trading opportunities shouldn't be taken, right? That is a clear perspective from my end. If you want that, you can look at the Patreon. We are going through right now, we are going through a Ask for TA session where we would be literally posting 10, 20, 30 charts a day for next 2-3 days to cover most of the assets which you have in your portfolio. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.